What's going on, Saints fans? Let's have a conversation because this could be the last chance for Spencer Rattler to get a win as a quarterback in the National Football League, at least for the New Orleans Saints. Week 5 versus the Giants, really big opportunity for Rattler to try to change the script and try to change the tune around him. And so we're going to talk about why Spencer Rattler needs to win this week, and if he doesn't, when could we see Tyler Shough? Because that is a conversation to be had. Let me ask this question. I want you to answer it. How interested are you in seeing Tyler Shough start for the New Orleans Saints? 1 to 100. 1 meaning not at all. You don't want to see it. 100, if you're Daniel Lee, you're in the chat right now. You are desperate to see him get on the field. Spam those 100s in the comment section in the live chat. And let's talk about this game. So week 5, the New Orleans Saints, they are 1.5-point favorites in this matchup, which is pretty interesting to think about. This will be one of the few games this entire season that they are favored to win. So why are we talking about Spencer Rattler and this potentially being the last chance he can get to win a game? Well, it's because the New York Football Giants, they are not that great of a football team. And when you look ahead at the schedule, the season's only going to get harder. It's going to take a while for it to get easy. And the season is only going to get more difficult before it gets easy. So let's take a look at this next 6 games coming up before the bye week. So week 5, you got this game. That's a winnable matchup in my opinion. Week 6, the Patriots are starting to really figure things out. I am going to say I'm a little bit worried about us trying to beat Drake May. Week 7, Dennis Allen, he's going to want to prove a point. I know that a lot of us don't believe in the Bears, but you got to travel to Chicago, and that might be a tougher game to win than you think. Week 8 versus the Buccaneers, they are a really, really good team this year. I'm going to be honest, I'm not really looking forward to that matchup. The Rams in Week 9, I am desperately wishing we could just fast forward through that game. To be totally honest, the Rams kind of own the Saints, and I'm just really tired of it. Week 10 against the Panthers, maybe that's actually a game you could win. The last time you traveled to Carolina, it did not go well, and you fired your head coach. So week 11, that's when the bye week is after that game in Carolina. And that could be a really, really good time to get Tyler Shough ready to start. Reminder, this season's only going to get harder before it gets easier. And I think that the remaining games leading up to the bye are much, much harder than the games after the bye. Now, let's look at the matchups that the Saints have after Week 11. Week 12, 13, Week 14. Say what you want about the NFC South, but I think that the Falcons are a team that you will always be able to compete with. The Dolphins might be one of the worst teams in football. You should be able to handle that game. The Buccaneers, like I said, they make me nervous, especially on the road. You bring the Panthers home, I think that's a winnable game. The Jets, definitely a winnable game, but it's going to be a hard struggle slowing down Justin Fields. And Aaron Glenn, remember, he was a guy who was heavily considered for the Saints job, ultimately chose the Jets job. So that's going to be a little bit of a get-back game for New Orleans. But then you have the Titans, definitely the worst team in football, without a doubt. You play them in Week 17 and the Week 18, you're always going to have an opportunity to beat the Falcons. So when you look at the games that were played before the bye versus the games played after the bye, it's easy to see the back half of the season much, much, much easier. And so for New Orleans, why would you decide to start Tyler Shough in the back half of the season? Well, if you're at the bye week and you are 1-10, or you are 2-9, or God forbid you are 0-11, or 0-10, or whatever it is, that's not going to bode well for Spencer Rattler. It's not going to bode well for the offense. You're going to have to take an opportunity to see what you got in Tyler Shough. Because if things go poorly, which I assume they probably will, you are still going to be primed for a top selection in the 2026 NFL Draft. And if the New Orleans Saints are in a top position, you have to know whether or not you need to seriously consider quarterback. And for Tyler Shough, he's somebody I think that can really do some good things for this offense. I want to talk about the pros. I want to talk about his stats. I want to talk a little bit more about him as a player compared to Rattler. But I think that the New Orleans Saints in the back half of the season have a really nice opportunity to see what they got in Tyler Shough. It's going to be a lot of low-pressure games where all you're doing is just seeing what you have and against some bad rosters. And on top of that, you might actually be able to create some confidence for this team and for this offense. Say, you know what, we're kind of figured out. Like, this is where we're going to go with this. This is how we build in the offseason. So the second half of the season is an opportunity, whether it's Shough or Rattler, to see where you're headed in the offseason. But I do think that Shough, it could be time fairly soon. Now, we are going to be live every single game here at Saints Now by Chat Sports. We showed you the rest of the games remaining. You got Week 5 versus the Giants on Sunday. You go to have the Patriots come in town. You travel to Chicago. You go to Tampa. You bring them home. You go to L.A. You go to Carolina. You go to Atlanta. You go to Tennessee. All of these fun games are going to be awesome, and we're going to be live every single one of them. So subscribe, turn on your notifications, and tune into the watch parties because we also like to give out a lot of fun free giveaways, raffles, all that kind of fun stuff. So I hope you guys subscribe, turn on your notifications, and tune into the content because it is absolutely electric on game day here at the channel. Now, Spencer Rattler, let's call a spade here. He isn't somebody that's been lights out. I want to give him credit because I feel like there's going to be a lot of people who interpret this video as I'm tired of watching Spencer Rattler and I think he sucks. That is not at all what the case is. Spencer Rattler, I think, has been okay. I think he has been fine. I don't think he's the reason you lost games. I don't think he's the reason you won games. He has competed at a very, very strong level. He has not been winning, but he is a competitor, and he is fighting, and he is trying to make plays despite whatever the situation is in the matchup. He's also found a good way to start utilizing his legs, so I think that's a strength of his as well. All of that to say, he needs to push the ball downfield more. And 7.6 yards average depth of target, that's terrible. It's tied for 31st. That's bad. There are 32 starting quarterbacks. You have such nice weapons. You have such nice players. You have speed. You have elusiveness. You have athleticism. You have dogs. And you're not feeding them. You're not taking shots. You're getting unproductive play. For the love of God, Juwan Johnson is your leading receiver right now. That's not okay with me. I don't like that. It drives me freaking crazy. And Chris Olave, I love number 12. Josh Olave watches the show, brother of Chris. Big fan of his. We interact on social media. This is not a knock on him as a human, but good Lord, please, please, please play better football. Shut up all the haters. Play good football and just ball out. That's all I'm asking. I'm not asking you to go have 200 yards a game. I'm not even asking for 100 yards a game, but can we get a touchdown every – can we have more than one touchdown this point through the season? Can we at least have 200 yards through 4 games? Like, that's not that much to ask. It's really not. Can we stop dropping passes? Rashid Shaheed, scheme the ball downfield for him. Let him go and do his thing. Just give him the ball. He is the most electric football player in the entire league when he has the ball in his hands. Let him do it. Just give him chances. It's so frustrating. The New Orleans Saints, they have way, way too much speed to not be pushing the ball downfield. They need to stretch the field. They need to take shots. They need to get over whatever lack of confidence or fear or whatever it is. They need to shake whatever is causing them problems right now because they are not performing well enough. They need to stretch the field. They need to scheme these players open. Have them move around like crazy. We've talked and heard and listened to this coaching staff say over and over and over again, they don't feel like they need a veteran quarterback. They don't feel like they need a big body receiver. They have the speed. They like what they got. They really are enjoying the schemes that they're creating, blah, 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 blah. No receiver for the New Orleans Saints has over 200 yards. Okay, cool. That was all nice to hear in the offseason. But can we get some damn production? Like, I didn't realize that was too much to ask. And I understand that you are missing a alpha presence. You're missing that big-bodied receiver. But you traded for Devon Baylor. And it takes time for him to get accustomed to the roster. It takes time for him to get ready for the game day. I don't know why you're just not letting him go out there and just try to ball out. Like, it's getting frustrating. It really, really is. The offense has not been nearly explosive enough. And you can point the finger at receivers, quarterbacks, coaching staff. You can point the finger to anybody. At the end of the day, everyone needs to be better, though. not one person's job to be better. It's everyone's job to be better. Now, we're going to finish off today's video here in just a second, but first things first, got to tell you about this new chair sale that we got. If you need a new throne for game day, whether you're going to tailgates, whether you're watching in the backyard with the fellas, or whether you're just trying to hang out and play video games in your crib and all you need is a chair and a TV and a mini fridge, this chair right here, it's on sale. It was $70. Now it's less than $50. Go to chatsports.com/SaintsChair or just click the link in the comments, the description of this video. Scroll down. It's right there. I made it clickable for you. You can be the proud new owner of your new tailgate throne. Chatsports.com/SaintsChair. I think this is absolutely sick. Now, let's talk about a really, really wild stat here. Remember, Spencer Rattler has a 7.6 average depth of target, which is tied for 31st in the National Football League. Tyler Shough has thrown 2 passes as a professional quarterback. He is currently tied for 3rd in average depth of target. Say what you want. Don't really care. I know it's only been 2 plays. Can't really think too much into it. Wild to say the least, though. Definitely wild to say the least. And I think that Tyler Shough, for a team that has speed and has great players that can be field stretchers and can push the ball downfield, I think that Shough is a player who might be able to do that at a fairly high level. I mean, we've had a lot of conversations about Tyler Shough. We've scouted him endlessly on this channel. And I even brought my boy Jack Sperry on the show, one of our in-house draft analysts, and he was a huge fan of Tyler Shough. And I got to tell you right here, ladies and gentlemen, he's got some pretty interesting things to keep an eye on. The arm flexibility and the size of it. I mean, he can hit the deep shot. He just can't. Just calling a spade here. Giggity, he can hit the deep shot. He has a really quick and clean release. The pocket footwork is really polished. The size is really, really nice. It's 6'5", 219 pounds. And I think his straight line speed, I think his athleticism is pretty underrated. I'm not saying that this is a guy who's going to burn you with his legs every single time he gets, but he is somebody who I think you can scheme rushing plays for, and I think he's somebody who can, in a pinch, fall back on his legs and just make something happen. Now, the 3-level accuracy for Tyler Shough is also something I really like, and I think that that's an important part for the Saints offense. They need to be more accurate in the passing department. Spencer Rattler, obviously, some of those passes have been egregious drops, but there have been some really off-target throws that the receivers just tried to make a play and couldn't quite bring it in. Or, it was a great pass in a great spot, just defense made a hell of a play like in week 1 on the Juwan Johnson drop. I think he has nice touch. I think he has anticipation. I think the deep ball is a strength of his, and I really like how he can process everything during the pre-snap portion of a play. So for Tyler Shough, let's just kind of put a bow on this conversation here. Why is this the last chance for Spencer Rattler? Why is the clock ticking? Why could this be the last opportunity for number 2 to get a win as the starting quarterback for the Saints, maybe even in the NFL? Because at some point, you're going to have to get an assessment of Shough. At some point, you have to see if he's the guy. At some point, you have to have an honest assessment of yourself and say, I know we talked about Spencer Rattler's the guy. Like Kellen Moore has been on the record saying, Spencer Rattler's the guy. We're not doing the back and forth thing. Tyler's going to sit and develop. Rattler's the starter. Things change. Opinions change. Words change. And you can say things. Guess what? Coaches lie. It's a crazy concept, I know. But you can say things that may not be 100% true just to kind of silence the conversations, if you will. You have to see what you got in Tyler Shough. You have to see if you need to prioritize drafting quarterback in the top of the first round. And to be totally honest, it's not that I want to see Spencer Rattler off the field because I do like him as a player a lot. But I'd be lying to say that I'd be lying if I said I wasn't interested in seeing Tyler Shough. I am. I'm really eager to see him get on the field and see what he's got. He was drafted 40th overall reason. Kellen Moore has belief in him. I would like to know why. Now, who do you have more faith in, Tyler Shough or Spencer Rattler? Can I just make one thing clear here before this video ends? Just because I'm asking who do you have more faith in doesn't mean I'm asking you to pin yourself against the team. That's not asking me to – I'm not asking you to do something ridiculous. It's actually the most frustrating thing in the world. Saints fans are awesome, but we are an insane fan base and a very passionate fan base. It's not one or the other. You can root for both of these guys to succeed. For what it's worth, crazy concept, I know. both of these guys because they're on your team, you can root for both of them. I know. Isn't that such a wild concept? Isn't that so crazy? I mean, God forbid I want to see Tyler Shough, the guy that was drafted 40th overall, do well. I'd like to see the Saints be right. Like, call me crazy. I'm not saying I have more faith in Shough. I'm not saying I have more faith in Rattler. I just hate that this is such a divisive topic amongst the Who Dat Nation. Get in the comment section. Who do you have more faith in? Y'all stay golden. We'll see you next time.